everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. I know lots of you keep asking after the dogs and why aren't I sharing as much stuff as I used to. It's just been really crazy busy what with the move that we did, but I promise I will get back to sharing a few more things about what we've been up to with you guys shortly. Now, there was a story that's come out to do with Meghan, and I was in two minds to do it because I know everyone's got Meghan Markle fatigue, but she's come out with some real chestnuts in that, and I just really want to bring it up. In most part because I love reading your opinions and your comments on it, because there's just some things where you can't help but poke fun at her. But before we get on to the moaning Markle of Montecito, let's talk about the Prince and Princess of Wales, who seem to have been in really, really good spirits as they paid several visits to three separate organisations whilst they were over on a surprise trip, as it turned out, to Northern Ireland. The first stop was to Northern Ireland's Fire and Rescue Services New Learning and Development College in Cookstown. The royal couple looked quite the pair as they arrived and even managed to match the colour of their boots. I'm completely in love with Catherine's military-style green coat by Alexander McQueen. In fact, I'm completely in love with this entire look. Autumn is my favourite season for fashion because it means coats, jumpers, skinny jeans. I don't care if people say they're out of fashion. I like leggings, I like skinny jeans, tucked into as many boots as I can fit into the cupboard. It often upsets my husband because I often kick his shoes out of the way. Catherine and William took a tour of the college and they met with lots of the instructors and of course the trainees, and they spent some time watching various training scenarios and exercises being carried out. Ever the competitive couple, they took part in a water rescue activity where they had to throw rescue lines with a float to a would-be casualty in the floodwater rescue simulator. This is actually pretty cool. There's only 2 of these in the entire world that are used for fire rescue training. Both the Prince and Princess of Wales had a good go, but they both missed the mark and the instructor was swept away to his imminent death. Okay, I'm joking there. The competitiveness between this couple is definitely strong. After testing out the fire trucks, of which Catherine had joked that she wanted the driver to go at full speed with the sirens on, but the driver sadly had to pop her bubble and say no. I mean, who could blame him? Could you imagine if something went wrong and you've got the future king and queen in the back of the truck? So obviously Catherine was just playing with the driver, but I think he was like, "Whew, thank you," she was joking. Off to their next engagement, the couple had a quick change of clothes and were then off to visit the Mallon farm owned by Helen Kerr and Charlie Mallon, who are aiming to set up a supply chain of linen made from flax. As well as restoring heritage machinery, they are producing natural fibre products. The couple went to see the flax fields to learn about the harvesting and the full journey from field to close. Now, this, of course, was up William Street as well as it was Catherine's for a point of interest. Prince William in particular to do with sustainable practices that are good for the planet and the environment, and Catherine with her love and her passion for textiles and supporting the industry. Catherine and William looked as though they were having great fun as they both took part in some fibre scutching and then watched the final stages of when the fibre is hackled, spun and woven into clothes. Now also, whilst we're on the subject of clothes, please can we talk about Catherine's change of outfit from that gorgeous military dress coat to this. If I wore something like that, I would look like an 1800s fishwife, whereas Catherine, she looks like the perfect country princess. I mean, we always say it, but it's true. She could walk down the street in a bin bag and people would still be ooh and ahhing at her. Catherine even managed to still look classy as she was drinking half a pint of cider on their next visit. After leaving the Mallon farm, they visited Longmeadow Cider in Northern Ireland's Orchard County. The family-run farm is not just famous for craft ciders or for its apple juice or its apple cider vinegar, but also, interestingly, potato apple bread. The couple learned about the farm's local heritage, how they use traditional methods, which of course Prince William was happy because it's sustainable, and also they helped out with the apple harvest. Not afraid to pull their sleeves up and get involved, Catherine and William both grabbed a basket each and got busy, with Catherine gently ribbing her husband again as she filled her basket up far quicker than what the future king managed to. These two just cannot help themselves when it comes to their competitiveness, and they were no different when it came to a baking lesson. Tasked with baking the farm's famous potato apple bread, these two were back to their usual antics of making little jibes at each other and, of course, trying to outdo each other. And Prince William got himself in a little bit of a tizzy when he wasn't quite listening to instructions that were given.
And you're trying to keep it into a circle.
Circle. If you look at it this way, it looks like a circle.
A rectangle circle.
A rectangle circle. This is the new variety. Sometimes I got so circle.
Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
It's seriously impossible not to laugh and to smile along with this couple. They are just so much fun when they are on engagements like this. There is no formality. There's not a whiff of snobbery from either one of them. They're not standoffish with people, and it's not performative. They are just genuinely getting involved with whatever is placed in front of them and having a good time while they do it. Their engagements are always a delight to watch, whether they are on their own or especially when they are together and they're mucking around and having fun. But even though they are interacting in such a playful way with each other, they are still highlighting other people, the charities, the causes, the projects that they visit. They might be having a joke with one another, but they're also involving other people around them. It's not about the cameras. It is about showcasing and highlighting these other organisations, the farms, the practices that they are visiting. And it's obviously in very stark contrast to the other two. Harry used to know how to highlight other people, but now he is no different to his wife. We saw the way that he acted when he came over for those few days, and it was all about making a spectacle of himself to showcase himself. And of course, his wife is no different. Now, she has appeared in Washington, D.C. You know, she's so desperate to get home to her little darlings. Well, she's appeared on a panel pretending to be an influential woman in business. It's like a buzzword bingo that we could all sit there with cards and we could tick off, and I reckon all of us would end up with a winner. Meghan is very much rinse and repeat, and she has, of course, done something that we have come to expect. Every time that Meghan is trying to make out that she's hugely successful, she's got to get a dig in there at the royal family and play a little bit of the I'm still a victim card. So Victoria Beckham's new stalker appeared on the panel for Fortune's Most Powerful Women Summit. Yes, I know that is laughable. It is just as laughable as when she and Harry appeared cosplaying a young Harry with Diana creepily, and they both had lots of extra hair, didn't they? On Time's 100 Most Influential People. Again, with everything when it's to do with these two, especially when it comes to being highlighted, collecting awards, being on panels, it's not down to what you know, it's who you know, or rather who you married. So Meghan at the moment is stuck between two personalities. It's obvious she's bored of As Ever. That's slowly going to start winding down. I'm sure she'll bring in some new things to it. And she's now ramping herself up, this new reinvention, using Victoria Beckham as her role model. Meghan is now going to be branching out into the fashion world because she's found a shiny new toy which will give her some extra attention, that quick flash in the pan. But she still has to pretend that she cares enough about As Ever because it allows her to go onto a panel like this and she can pretend for a bit. Now, as part of Meghan's word salads, when she's trying to make herself out to be important, she has to name drop a few people, give herself a few comparisons. And in this instance, when she was asked about With Love, Meghan, is it going to be renewed? And the Netflix contract, which obviously, as we know, they got massively demoted, Meghan's put a positive spin on it. And she's compared herself to the Obamas, who also saw a contract change. But the thing that makes me laugh, Meghan comparing herself to the Obamas, no matter your political views or whether you like them or you don't like them, they were still the presidents and the first lady with successful careers behind them. And through their company Higher Ground, they are actually producing programming that lots of people are watching that become hits. Meghan has also compared herself to Nelson Mandela. She's compared herself to the Little Mermaid. I mean, at this point, she might as well compare herself to the Dalai Lama or the Pope. She's certainly been dressing like him lately. Now, alongside comparing herself, trying to get herself associated with the Obamas again, we've seen that many a time, she talks about things like she's the person that's invented it. And this one's a beauty. The host has just spoken to Meghan about will With Love, Meghan be renewed for season 3? And her answer is that she is looking to expand it in a different way. So yes, it's been dropped. No, it's not been renewed, but Meghan's going to put her own spin on it. Part of what we are testing out now is it's amazing to sit and to watch a show for 30 minutes. But how can I give you a recipe in 2 minutes? And where can I share that with you? Now, where can I work out how to film 2-minute videos, 2-minute recipe videos, and where can people watch this? Oh, I don't know, Meghan. Instagram, YouTube Shorts, a magical social media platform that I'm sure many of you have not heard of course, is TikTok. Meghan knows that these platforms exist because Meghan uploads short videos herself. We're now going to go on to Meghan choosing her favourite 2 ingredients to every speech that she gives. A little bit of a swipe at the royal family, added with a dash of she's a victim, right? She's being asked about, her move to California. I think the host was basically saying, why is it you've suddenly decided that you're going to be a businesswoman in the last year and not, the previous years that, you've moved to California. You have been out of the royal family for a very long time, even though you don't stop talking about them. And Meghan comes out with this. I think 5 years ago was a very different situation for all of us. Archie was so little and I had just gotten pregnant with Lily around the same time. So we were nesting and healing. There was no plan. It was just let's get through the next couple of years. Nesting and healing as they attacked the royal family relentlessly. They had 2 Oprah specials back to back. Harry did podcasts. There were countless interviews, magazine spreads, Harry writing Spare, filming for Netflix, all again to trash the royals. Meghan's talking about, I was just nesting because I was pregnant. I think she's confusing nesting and feathering her nest. Nesting is what's a common thing that happens with pregnant women, especially towards the end, where they go into panic mode, trying to make sure that everything's ready for the baby. But Meghan, I believe, means feathering her nest with all of the gold that she got from trashing the royals. The thing is with Meghan, this speech is no different to any of her other speeches when people give her a platform to talk about how successful she is. It's just made up. It's fiction. The fact that she was even appearing as an influential woman of power because she founded As Ever is completely laughable. She only started it last year under a different name, ran into constant trademarking issues. She stole the new name that she had to come up with off a clothing company in New York. She copied her new logo from a village in Spain. She oversold lots of products and then she had to apologize and issue refunds. Everything's white label. She creates nothing. She just sticks her own label on things that have actually been made by other people. She refused to give Bloomberg her sales figures and clearly uses marketing ploys to pretend that she has sold out of her products. This is not a successful business model that she built up from the ground. It's not even a year old. It's made up bullshit. Like another award that Meghan is soon to be receiving. Yes, hot off the heels of her being crowned Humanitarian of the Year alongside her husband, she's now being awarded for her last podcast, which everybody knows was a total flop. It was criticised heavily for its lack of substance, the fact that Meghan was constantly talking about herself. It was completely boring, it was underwhelming, and it was just as bad as her previous attempt. She's won a gold award in the Business, People and Entrepreneurs Shaping Culture category for the Signal Awards, voted as the listener's choice. So I thought I'd take a quick look at the Signal Awards. And you know, anybody with a podcast can pay a fee and they can add their own podcast. It says in the jargon that it has to be either your podcast and it must be live that people can listen to it currently, or you have to have given full permission to someone for them to pay the fee and to list it on your behalf. All she's got to do is then send it down the grapevine to her little fan base who will vote, and vote. So in a roundabout way, Meghan has literally just bought and paid for another award. The Humanitarian of the Year award that they just won with Project Healthy Minds. It's the second year that Project Healthy Minds had ever given it out, and they had just partnered up with Archwell. It's no different to when they partnered up with the NAACP, and then of course they were then bestowed the honor of the Presidential Award. This is their version of a life of service. Do you remember that they did that clap back to Queen Elizabeth II? Anybody can commit their life to a life of service. Those two are confused between selflessness and self-service. They only live to serve themselves. Every charitable endeavour is about having a photo opportunity and, of course, a round of applause. Every apparent act of philanthropy or business venture, and we have to admit Meghan has an awful lot of those, it's all about hopefully a little red carpet appearance, another magazine spread, and at some point another award ceremony. Meghan sees being a powerful woman as someone that's adored, applauded. She's collecting awards and telling the world how amazing that she is. But it's clear to most people that she is just driven by her own vanity and her need for constant attention. What a totally soulless, vapid and empty existence that these two both lead. He is just as bad as her. And South Park, they got it right on so many different things about this couple, but never before has this one been more applicable. Truly, absolutely spot on. So guys, that's it for me on this video. Tell me your thoughts and I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.